my testimony as well, and how the team evaluation has impacted me. As I testified at November's monthly meeting, my experience in special education began right under my very own roof and spans over 30 years. Having a sibling with special needs set me apart from the majority of my peers. I have always believed that having that experience placed me at an advantage when it came to my calling to become a special education teacher. I lived it every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I am and will forever be grateful for that experience. I know the day will come when our parents will no longer be able to provide the means to take care of him because of health issues and growing older. I will gladly fulfill my duties as his conservator, making sure my brother has his every need met. My career began in 2006 in a small town in West Tennessee. I was hired as a full-time inclusion teacher in a 9th grade academy for the Henry County school system. I learned many new things that year that I was not taught in college and faced many challenges. An elementary inclusion position became available the following spring, and my request to transfer was granted. I was the inclusion teacher for grades 2 through 5 at Lakewood Elementary School from 2007 until 2011, when I accepted a position with Knox County Schools. During my tenure with Henry County, I served students with various disabilities, from specific learning disabilities to autism and students with emotional disturbance. I also became very involved in a teaching methodology called service learning. Service learning is a teaching practice in which academic standards are taught and led by a teacher while simultaneously providing the community with a need in which they will benefit. My students and I were recognized substantially 3 years in a row for our efforts in service learning. During our last project in 2011, we collaborated with Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado. My students corresponded and practiced their writing friendly letters with Principal Frank DeAngelis, who was the principal on that tragic April day, and Dawn Anna, whose daughter was mortally wounded in the library. Because of their efforts and dedication, 2 red maple trees were planted on the campus of Columbine as a memorial next to the softball field, which was named after Dave Sanders, the teacher who ultimately gave his life to save those of his students. My students gained more from those projects than they ever did taking a standardized test. I miss conducting service learning projects with students. Now, with Common Core and the team evaluation, the time for service learning no longer exists. The anxiety of wondering how my lesson will be interpreted is mentally frustrating and exhausting. I, like Robert Taylor, as well as other related arts and special educators, am evaluated with the same rubric as a general education teacher. I am expected to hit the same number of expectations on the rubric as the general education teacher just to get that rock-solid 3. The difference? I'm expected to accomplish this in a 45-minute time frame rather than a 90-minute ELA or mathematics block with students who do not learn as quickly as their typical peers. I can show you where my students have increased their reading and math fluency scores, among other great accomplishments. However, none of that data will be evident through TCAP or PARCC scores. A year and a half ago, I was offered a teaching position in the 5th largest school district in the United States. I was the #1 choice out of 56 applicants nationwide, only having interviewed via telephone. Flattered as I was, I chose not to accept the position for 2 reasons. Tennessee is my home, and I wanted to continue to share my talents and abilities with Knox County Schools. I refused to let a number define who I am as an educator, and as always, I will continue to advocate for my past, present, and future students and keep their best interests at heart. In closing, I want to read a letter from a parent of a student I had my first year in Knox County. Employment changes required them to relocate to Florida, and these were their parting words. "We will miss you so much. There are no words to say thank you for all you have done for my little girl. The saying is true that it only takes one special teacher in a child's life to make a world of difference. You were that teacher. We will always keep you as a special part of our hearts. You made that difference in her life, and for that we are eternally grateful." And for that, ladies and gentlemen, there is no rubric. Thank you.
Thank you. Robert Taylor.
Robert Taylor at 1735 Blackwood Drive,